So magandang araw mga kababayan at maraming salamat ulit sa oras na binibigyan niyo sa amin sa panonood. At ngayon, makakasama natin ang isa sa anak ng dalawang, obviously ang parents niya ay isang OFW. Nag-migrate ang kanyang parents sa UK few years, how many years?
In the 70s.
1970s, nag-migrate yung kanyang parents dito at si Ryan ay pinanganak dito sa UK. Kaya ngayon, medyo mapapalaban tayo ng konting Englishan pero we will try our best to do the questionnaire in English because otherwise he won't understand the Tagalog thing. So, salamat sa panonood at sana ay may mapulot kayong aral ulit sa episode na to. So Ryan, just wanted to say thank you so much for your time that you allocated for us.
Oh, thanks for having me here. It's an honor.
And I really do appreciate it from the heart. Yeah, so what we would like to do in here pretty much is just questioning you a little bit about, to start it with, obviously about your childhood.
Sure.
So how were you actually born? I know you're born here.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about your childhood?
Yeah, sure. So we grew up in Walthamstow, East London. Mum and Dad came here in the 70s. Mum came here as a nurse, as one of the cohorts of nurses, and Dad followed. And I grew up, I'm the eldest of three brothers. So I've got two younger brothers. And yeah, I mean, it was a good upbringing, you know. We didn't have much, but it was enough, you know, like we had fun. Like the family took us to holidays to Philippines and other places as well. So it was a very like humble upbringing. You know, Dad had sort of very basic jobs, worked in bars, worked as a minicab driver, worked in Royal Mail for a little while, and Mum literally just retired this year from nursing. So yeah, she was a nurse the whole way through. Yeah.
Wow. So in terms of obviously culture-wise, I mean obviously there's certainly differences in culture of the Philippines and kind of thing. So what do you think your parents influenced you in terms of culture kind of stuff? Because I know obviously you're probably not using the language as much as...
No, I mean, to be honest, they did speak to us and I can understand the language a little bit. I'm just not, being honest, I'm not brave enough to speak it really, because it's really broken up and I don't really have the confidence to speak it. But in terms of culture, I like to think they sort of brought us up in as much of the Filipino traditions as, because that's all they knew really. They didn't know the UK culture. Of course. So they'd speak to us in Tagalog and English. Mum is a fantastic cook and the community knows Mum for cooking. So we grew up on Filipino food and we still eat Filipino food to this day. And one of the companies that we run at the moment is a Filipino brand, food brand.
Oh, restaurant, is it?
It's not a restaurant, no, we manufacture longanisa sausages.
Okay.
So,
okay, that's cool. So could you, I mean obviously we would like to know where actually your parents come from the Philippines.
They're both from Laguna.
Okay.
Yeah, so Dad is from Los Baños.
Okay.
And Mum is from the next town in Victoria.
Okay.
That's
both
from
why
Laguna,
probably this kind of food stuff has come from.
Yeah.
Those in Laguna. It's so good in terms of creating this kind of longanisa. I think there's particular, I'm not sure which part of that area. Kind of very known of creating some longanisa. What's it called, that longanisa thing?
It's just the standard longanisa, like it's sweet and spicy. So
So it's still going.
Yeah, still going. Yeah.
But that's kind of homemade stuff. Or
yeah. So like I said, Mum always made longanisa and sold it to her friends. And this actually was born out of lockdown. So I'll get to the other businesses that we run, but during lockdown, those businesses were sort of shut down because of obviously quarantine or whatever. And Mum was still making longanisa, and I decided to build a website for her. And I was like, oh, if you're selling, because I've got so much free time, I built a website, done some sponsored targeting adverts, targeted Filipinos, and we literally just started selling like that.
So actually your mum is part of creating it?
Well, no, it actually grew to the stage where I remember I was actually in the hospital from COVID, and I get the notifications for the orders, and one time a notification came up and I saw on the phone, someone ordered 500 packs. And I was like, who orders so many packets? And then I realized they were a shop. So from that moment, we pivoted into wholesale, supplying shops and restaurants. And now we contract manufacture the sausage making.
Supplying all this Filipino.
Correct. Yeah.
So you actually get the staff to do the job now?
Yes.
to manufacture the thing?
No, we don't even have the equipment. I contract a company, a sausage company. They use our recipe, and then they make the sausages. Yeah. And we've called that company Lola Ben's Food, which is named after my late dad.
Right. So we're gonna put out at the end of the video. Obviously, the description is gonna be there, so people might be wanting to try your organization. People could see that on the internet.
Yeah.
So back to your kind of childhood in terms of things. So when you were a child, kind of obviously at school, did you ever think that you're gonna follow your parents kind of what they're doing, or you got something in your mind that you want to do when you grow up in terms of business?
Yeah.
So how that kind of
I think from an early age I kind of knew that I didn't want to go down the full-time 9-to-5 job route. There was I think there was some inspirations, like, so one of our uncles in the Philippines, my mum's brother, he got into sort of like soft drink distribution or something like that, and he done really well. He had a house in Alabang, and we'd go there. And bear in mind, we had a small house here in London, and we'd go to Philippines. Sort of, I was probably 5, 6, 7 years old, something like that, and he had this big mansion with a swimming pool. And I remember turning on the lights, and the whole swimming pool lit up, and I was like, "Wow, this is it's incredible!" And obviously, I'd ask my mum, "What does he do? What's his work?" And she'd be like, "Oh, he has his own business." So maybe like things like that inspired me from a young age. We also had family in the States who had their own petrol stations, gas stations, and going there for the summer and then sort of helping them clean windscreens and stuff like that. It just sort of opened my eyes that, it's not just the work route. Maybe I can go into business. So that's where the inspiration came.
Because your uncle is in the Philippines when you went for holiday. Just kind of think that's the biggest part of you where you are now, kind of influence you in terms of, I think I better get to, because I could. What do you think make you kind of go to that kind of business kind of path? Because when you say this, your uncles obviously got beautiful properties, swimming pools. Is that the things inspire you to create?
Oh yeah, 100%. But also it was my parents as well. Like they worked so hard. Mum would work in the day, and then she'd come home at like 5, 6 o'clock, and then dad would have to leave to go to work, so that there's always someone home to look after the kids. So it was just seeing them sort of work so hard. And it made me realise, I'd obviously need to work hard as well, but I also need to be in control of my time.
Absolutely.
And obviously now at the state, like the stage that I'm at, I understand that time is the most important thing for me.
Right.
And having control of my time, spending time with my kids, and being able to go to sort of family appointments and birthday parties and be there like that is such an important thing for me. So
cool. So when you obviously graduated from school and then did you actually go to university or?
I went to university, but I dropped out after a year and a half. I remember doing business and IT. But I would be sitting in the lecture halls. And at that time, my side hustle was fitting car stereos, the big boom boxes and all of that stuff. And because it was university, it was my target market. There were so many young guys with cars, and they all wanted me to do their work. So I was making quite a good bit of money. So I'd be in the lecture, and he's teaching me about business. The lecturer's teaching me about business, but I'd be in the back trying to sort of work out how much materials do I need for this job, and how much am I gonna make. So I wasn't really focusing on that. So from that stage, I sort of realized, I'm just gonna go down this path. And that was a hard thing as well, to tell mum and dad, like, I'm leaving uni because I'm working on a side hustle. Mum was a little bit like, no, what are you doing? You have to finish uni. But dad was a lot more, okay, as long as you're doing something and you're working, then I'll support you, So
you actually kind of going to university, studying, at the same time, kind of doing the side hustle straight away, like as a kind of part-time job. So you just then, how much do you remember, do you think, the first money that you actually earned yourself? Do you remember how much that was when you had that?
Yeah, I do. So this was, it wasn't a customer outside of, in uni, it was a customer that I knew sort of amongst friends, another Filipino guy. And we were working on his car, and we were so early in business, I didn't even give him a quote. We didn't even agree on a price. He just said to me, look, I want these 2 speakers and this amplifier fitted, blah, blah, blah. And I remember, I think it took me like 2 days to do it, and at the end, I hand over the keys. He listened to it. He loved it, and he was like, "Oh, Ryan, we didn't agree on a price, but are you okay with this amount of money?" I was like, "Yeah," and it wasn't a lot. I'll be honest, it was £120, so it worked out £60 a day.
So it's fine. So obviously, there is a cost involved.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you buy the speakers, and then you.
Well, to be honest, he supplied the speaker, so it was just purely labour. It was just for me to put it all together.
So 120 just fully all together. You spend it maybe a couple of days, just 60 quid a day.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
Which is not bad because, like, I was a student, and to me, I was still living at home, so that was a lot of money to me, and I felt amazing because I was like, wow, I could make money without having to go into a job.
Yeah,
and to this day, I'm so grateful to that guy for trusting me with his car, and it was, and obviously we've done loads, and I've dealt with loads of different clients in different industries since. But that first job for that client was it was amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
So did you actually, so after that kind of transition, so did you think, oh, I'm going to do this one, I'm not going to be bored. So did you actually drop out after a year?
Yeah.
From the uni?
Yeah.
So did you actually work after that?
Yeah, so what I did is I was doing some of my own side hustle. Yeah, and then I worked as an employee in a car stereo shop.
Okay.
And I was there for a few years, earned quite good money, and then I actually became a partner.
Okay.
So one of the partners left, and then I bought in and became a partner. And then I was there for probably up until I was like 25.
Okay.
So we were working on, we had a car stereo shop in Enfield. We were working on all sorts of cars, putting car stereos and alarms.
Cars related stuff?
Yes, at the time, yeah.
So what is the most challenging, do you think, did you experience and kind of overcome it on that kind of, obviously, as employees and then become partners?
Do you know what it is? And it's the challenge of becoming self-employed.
I mean, obviously
to be honest, I wanted it so much, I didn't see a challenge. I was just like, I have to, because I'm bringing so much value to this business, I might as well own it. That's how I felt. So it wasn't a case, well, there was the hurdle of, the capital to buy in, which I had saved up. So, that was a challenge. But apart from that, there wasn't any other sort of, in my head, I was still living at home at the time. I didn't have any kids. So, it wasn't a massive risk for me, I'll be completely honest. But to me, it was like...
You mean in terms of risking money?
Risking money, as in, a lot of people at the moment, they're sort of in full-time employment and they're getting their fixed wage and they're risking that. And they've probably already got kids or bills or whatever, and they're risking that fixed wage coming in.
Correct.
To go self-employed and delving into the unknown. So
absolutely. So you kind of really, to be quite honest, you started so young in terms of like a business concept, really, isn't it? So, which is really incredible journey so far. I mean, obviously we're not going to be digging into things, but we're going to go this kind of broadly. So those experiences that you have, what do you think is the biggest kind of thing that you learn on the early stage of doing business? Now you kind of molded you to become who you are now.
Sure. That's a great question. I think some of the challenges are, especially when you're sort of starting out, things like cash flow challenges, finding new clients. I became really good at sort of branding and marketing at an early stage and selling. Actually, one of my last full-time jobs was a sales position. We used to work for a storage company, and I was a sales assistant there. So we had a lot of sales training, which was great, and I've sort of taken that into our businesses. There's obviously like cash flow challenges, employee challenges, all of that sort of stuff. But there will be challenges, and even up until this day, sort of like, I'm in my 40s now, and there's still challenges in business all the time. For sure.
It's going to be there forever. Like I said, that's part of the journey.
So
in terms of, I think, so you're saying that's the biggest thing that you kind of molded is kind of learning at the early stage, kind of that sale. Because I think all of that's known. That whatever you do in terms of business, regardless of industry, the selling point is the most kind of hard to the business.
Sure.
If you don't know how to sell, you can't do the business.
Absolutely.
So now, could you learn that kind of sales skills as a youngster, very young, early stage of your life, and then you got that now? How important do you think? Because this is now to think for the Filipinos who are watching this video, the importance of learning how to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either services, product.
Sure.
How important do you think that is?
I think it's really important. I know a lot of people in different sort of industries that are great at what they do, but they might lack the sales.
Yeah.
So I think sales is a fundamental skill in business. That if you don't do it yourself, at least employ someone that can do the sales for you. You know, but if your product or service is good,
yeah,
you don't really need to sell it. You've just got to show it to them.
Exactly.
And you know, if this solves your problem, then that's all you need. You know, that's it.
Solutions.
Yeah,
kind of
that's
stuff.
it. Yeah, because I think salespeople have that sort of stigma about them. It's like, oh, you're trying to sell me something that I don't want. You know, and I'd hate to be that guy. You know. If anything, I want to provide a solution to your problem. If I've got something that you need, cool. Let's do business together. You know, and let's both win out of it. So yeah.
So in terms of things, because I think when you roll in terms of rolling the business, or anything, it's kind of the person. It's like I can just feel it. Just tell me if I'm wrong. I just kind of feeling. This is the person we met together. I mean, the first time I met you.
Yeah.
But I think that your personality is kind of like you're the person. So if you see this opportunity, you just kind of grab it with both hands.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what you are.
Yeah.
So in terms of obviously you had that kind of thing. So after that years of being employees, you said about a few years, and then you become partners. Did you actually bought that at the end, or what happened to that business?
So that business there, I actually sold it to the guys that worked for me, and then I moved on to. I was running at the same time, parallel to the car business. I was running a DJ company called Signature Sounds, which we established that within the Filipino community.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'd like to come back to that the car business first, which is you become a partner.
Yep.
And then so when you exited that,
Yeah.
you actually sold it to someone.
Yes.
So you sold it to your partner, so the whole share?
Not to my partners, I sold it to the guys that worked for us.
So your partner, so it's supposed to be when your partners agreed to sell it to him.
Yeah.
And then the fund, when you sold that business, obviously that's the funding for your new venture, which is your daily signature.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it wasn't a massive exit. It was just sort of, it wasn't a great exit.
I always say,
to be completely honest, If anything, at the time, what was I doing at the time? Oh, right. So I remember we sort of moved into car wrapping. We tried that out for a little while, and at the time my dad wasn't very well. He was suffering from cancer at the time, and I remember like it was around Christmas time, and things were going on in the business, and my dad was in hospital, and it was all too much for me, and I was like, you know what, I need to just exit out of the business. So I don't mind. So we came out of the shop, started the car wrapping, but that's when my dad got ill. So I said to my business partner at the time, I was like, you know what, my head isn't really there. Just give me whatever I've invested and I'll walk away, because I just need to be with the family and focus on that. So I did. I got my share back out, which, you know, like I said, it wasn't a massive exit, but, you know, I got my costs back.
And then that's the money that you used to start the new business.
Yeah, well, like I said, so I've had this DJ business parallel to the... So the thing is with me and my background, my dad, he used to be a light and sound engineer back in the Philippines. He used to work for the cultural center, so doing lights and sound and all of that. So we grew up with like amazing sound systems in the house, the surround sound TVs and all of that, and that obviously inspired me massively. So that's sort of how I got into car stereos, because I basically grew up around sound systems. And at the same time I started this DJ company, because we'd be out and the sound quality at these events was terrible. The feedback on the microphone was terrible, and the sound was just horrible. And I was like, we can do better than this. And I remember speaking to a friend of mine, and James, who now lives in Stockholm, and Jason, who lives here in the UK. I was like, guys, we can do better than this. Let's set up a DJ company. So we set up the DJ company, minimal investment. We bought a couple of speakers, and we were one of the first guys to bring a laptop as the source of music, whereas before people were carrying big decks.
So your client then, is it more for Filipino community, or just no?
Yeah, so we started off for the Filipino community doing really cheap gigs for our own aunties and uncles.
It's taking birthday celebrations and the weddings, birthday celebrations. I think they were kind of required, because I think they're quite fair. I mean, obviously Josh is one of the kind of videographer and photographer as well. and that culture stuff never kind of out of the Filipino people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those 18 celebrations, but
Exactly. Yeah. Like the debuts and stuff. Yeah, we've done hundreds of like debuts and weddings, birthdays, christening. We started off just doing it for our family, and again, just marketing the service to the crowd, because whenever you do a gig, you're in front of 200 people that could potentially want to book you. So that's what we did, and we grew it. And I'm so grateful to the Filipino community, because they literally, you know, they supported the business. They booked us for all of their milestone events. Wonderful. And you know, like, it's funny because we've done all of the sort of girls' debuts when they were 18, and as they've got older, we've started to do their wedding, and you know, so and even now we're doing their kids' christenings or their kids' birthdays. So it's incredible,
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many years this actually business is still running?
Signature Sounds has been running more than 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 20 years in business, which is now, I think it's incredible journey.
Yeah.
I presume. But now it's like not your main battle. Obviously, it's not your main business, but you're still kind of. How much time do you actually spend to run this kind of as a part? Because I presume you're still part of the ownership.
Yeah, so Signature Sounds, only a couple of years ago, or quite recently, I made Donny, who was one of our DJs, long-term DJs, the director for that company.
Okay.
So he runs the day-to-day operations of that company, and now I just sort of have a monthly meeting, catch-up call with him, just to sort of consult and, you know, help him if he's got any sort of questions or whatever. But he's doing a fantastic job. He knows the business inside and out. He knows all of our clients. So so that's you know, another podcast that you could probably do with him, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously we would love him to kind of guest as well as part of your, I mean, obviously part of the company of that particular one. In terms of obviously now you're doing something else, because you got so many businesses that you started things. So, but then how did you actually end up to the development stage? This is because this now is your bit.
That's right.
So the shift from obviously car stuff, and then you go to the DJing stuff, which now is it the next one will be that.
I mean, I've got a few other sort of projects that I've tried in between, and they all, you know, they didn't work out. But I mean, the next main thing, like, which I'm working on now, you're right, is the development stuff.
So that's the third kind of level of what you've done.
Pretty much, I would say.
And in terms of obviously having those business like the car business, obviously those wrapping and the speakers, doing the sounds on the cars, and then you kind of shift it into the DJing thing. Is there any chance, do you think, it's come along that as a business owner, because obviously there's the biggest challenges in every somehow, they're gonna hit you like a ton bricks. Do you remember that? Did you have that?
100%, and that's you know, that's a great way to introduce how I got into the property thing. So I remember it was around 2016. We're running the DJ company. We're quite busy. We're doing probably around 300 events a year. Like we're playing in clubs, bars, doing weddings, doing all sorts of events. But my lifestyle wasn't really good, and
300 weddings, events. I mean, obviously it's not wedding, but then obviously if you don't mind me asking, if you remember, how much do you actually charge per gig?
So it varied. It would vary from as little as £200 for sending a DJ to a club for an hour, for example, to £2,000 for doing doing an event. So at the time, I remember.
I said, like, I mean, 300. This is on averaging. Even if you average about £1,000, that's 300,000.
I mean, it was a good run. We had a good team of people. We had sort of marketing staff, sales staff. You know, someone who dealt with just the bookings. It was a great team. And quite a lot of them were Filipino as well. So it was a great team. But 2016 Valentine's Day of all days, I was 34 at the time. I had a heart attack. And I was like, I remember we went out for the day. Went out for lunch. We've come home and we're sitting at home watching TV, and I was like, I don't feel good. It's not like on the film where they're like, you know. So I was just like, I don't feel good, and I tried to sleep it off. And I remember it was like 2-3 in the morning. I was like, babe, I can't. I don't feel good. She was like, call your mum. You know, like mum's a nurse. She might know what's up. And I was like, Mum, have you got any Gaviscon? I thought it was like indigestion. I was like, have you got any Gaviscon? She was like, oh, darling, just phone the ambulance just in case.
Yeah.
I phoned the ambulance. They've turned up. They've put the patches on me, and she was, and the ambulance or the nurse or whatever, she was like, the paramedic, sorry. She said to me, oh, the reason why you're feeling like this is because you're having a heart attack. I was like, what? Yeah, so I was like, what? Are you sure? She was like, yeah. I was like, so what now? She goes, another ambulance is going to come and we're going to take you to Royal Free.
Yeah.
Blues and Twos to Royal Free. So then I'm sitting in the ambulance and I'm like, this is not real. Like, this can't be happening. And they're explaining to me, exactly. I'm 34, and she explained to me, when we get there, this is what's going to happen. Anyway, I got there. I'm under the thing, and ended up having a stent procedure, unblocked the blockage. But to cut a long story short, all the business, but the business got affected really bad. My head was just not there, and it just sort of nosedived. And unfortunately, I ended up owing quite a bit of money, to my guys who were they kept the business going for me, even though it wasn't being run properly because I wasn't really there. They still supported it, and because years in, and they're not just my employees, they're my brothers. But it got to the stage where we owed quite a lot of money, and then I said to my missus, "Oh, babe, we're the business is in a hole. We could what we're gonna do?" And she was like, "Look, we can sell the house. If we need to sell the house, let's sell the house. I don't want it to go back to what happened last year where you had a heart attack. I don't want you stressed out. So let's sell the house." So we were like, "Okay, cool. Thank you, babes, for the support. Because there's not a lot of people like that, So
you're saying, when that happened, about your house, you already get that house mortgaged already?
Yes.
Wow.
So at the time, I couldn't even afford to paint the house, so to sell it. So I remember going to one of my close friends, mentors, brothers as well, and he's in property, real estate, developing. He does quite a lot of big stuff. And I said to him, "Look, I'm in a hole. I'm selling the house, and blah blah blah." And it was like, you don't have to sell the house. You can remortgage it. And then he started telling me about buy-to-let mortgages and this, that, and the other. So that was, without knowing, that was my first project. That house. We managed to raise a bit of finance on it. And because we had lived there for 10 years, there was quite a lot of equity. So we managed to, we remortgaged it. We moved out, remortgaged the house, rented it out. And then I managed to have a pot of money where I paid off the guys. And then I had a small pot, which I used to carry on the property journey. Wow. So that's basically how it started. From being in trouble, really, in a hole.
It's a big opportunity for me. It was a problem. And then obviously you kind of convince yourself that if I'm going to do this, I will. That's just
of course. And then I just immersed myself in the world of sort of buy-to-let mortgages, bridging and development finance. I started going on YouTube. Watching all sorts of people, how they navigate through the property journey, because it was new to me. I'd obviously been involved with sort of cars and DJing and stuff like that, but not really real estate. I even went back to college and did a carpentry course. So I was in my late 30s, sitting with a bunch of 16, 17-year-olds doing a carpentry course for a year. But I just wanted to learn something. 100%. So I literally. So
you did that as well. In terms of that, obviously before you had a heart attack. What do you think causing? Because obviously, did you actually lift yourself up so much doing the business, but then you left your healthy side of? Yeah, definitely.
I think I was just so immersed in the business.
Not eating properly, and you kind of just really focus on doing the business. So do you think how? Because I think there's a learn that people could actually
100%.
Apply these things. When you're telling me that, how important? Because obviously you learn the lesson the hard way.
For sure.
I think. How important to balance life in terms of obviously working in
it's the most important thing. You've got to balance everything. Like I said to you now, my time's the most important, so you've got to balance that time with business, family, health, friends. You can't just sort of go all in on one thing, because like what I did with the lifestyle, with the late nights and the bad diets and all of that stuff, that's where it led to. So if there's anyone out there sort of thinking about getting into business, make sure that you don't just go all in on just the business. look after your health, go for walks, go, you know, do some exercise, and, you know, maybe make that part of your hobby. So I took up cycling as part of my hobby,
that's good.
and that sort of helped me out. So yeah,
I think for me, yes, kind of. I think for me, in my, because we're all the same. We've been into that kind of stuff. Same thing. I mean, sometimes, just especially if the business is not producing well, because obviously at the end of the day, it's upside down. That's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Right? But then when you're down, sometimes it just kind of, people affected it so badly, and it kind of affect your health as
Yes,
well as
yeah.
obviously, you know, oh, I'm not eating this, because you're just focusing on the downside of the business.
Yeah.
And you forgot kind of you're going down with it as well, even your
Absolutely,
health. So for me, I think it's important for us to allocate the time to do some exercises.
For sure.
And for me, I mean, it's come as a discipline, I think, in my opinion, because if you do that as a routine, kind of a daily basis, it doesn't mean you have to spend an hour if you can, but I mean, I'll try my best to just an hour for myself to do some running or whatever, or walking, or lifting, or cycling, like what we do. And then obviously, I think, for me, I feel better to walk kind of, after you kind of done that, then you get the day that before you're occupied.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
sure.
Otherwise, if you can't do it in the morning, do it in the evening.
Yeah. The most important thing is just try to fit it in. And being completely honest, I'm still trying to balance that out. I haven't got it completely worked out, but I fit it in when I can. You know?
So nice. Okay, so that's very good. So far, I mean, this is an incredible journey already that you're sharing us. So now, in terms of things about properties, because I think most of the people not into kind of investing on the properties, because maybe some of them is just got the misconception of investing in the property.
Sure.
But now in your property things, I mean, obviously many Filipinos in the UK or even abroad.
Yeah.
How important do you think? Because I think you are invested on an early, very, very early stage of life to invest in the property. So when you had the first house, how old are you then?
We were in our 20s.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the first ever property that you bought.
Yeah, and it was a lot easier back then. So, you know, the house prices were a little bit smaller. You know, the mortgage wasn't as sort of difficult to get. But in terms of would I recommend getting into property, I think so. You know, like as an investment strategy, I think it's a really good investment strategy. You know, it's one thing out of all the different businesses that I've been involved with, it's one thing that has shown steady growth over a long period of time. So I definitely recommend it. If anyone, you know, out there, you know, has any spare capital, for sure, you know, buy a property, but hold it long term. You know, it's not a quick buck. You know.
So the house that you bought when you were 20, so now you bought this 20 years ago. You still own the house?
Yeah, we still own it. Yeah.
So the value for that now is incredibly.
Yeah. Like I said, so at that time when we sort of moved out of it, it probably doubled. Like at the So now it's probably been 15 years since we got it. Not got it, but I mean, I don't know how many years it's gone up. Yeah,
so that's incredible, isn't it? So in terms of obviously now, obviously, if there's some Filipino watching this, I mean, obviously you started at a young age. You are kind of the son of both of OFWs. That doesn't mean that you're going to end up saying what you're doing. What could you advise to them in terms of? I mean, there's so many people that resonate with this. Because obviously there's so many people migrated not only for the UK but worldwide. And then kind of grow the family wherever they are. And in this Filipino young boy, like when you are a young boy, kind of what could you advise to these youngsters that could potentially watch this film?
I mean, there's, like I said, our parents came over and even they had managed to buy houses and stuff, you know, and there's a lot of, you know, first generation Filipinos that have bought houses, and then there's now the second generation like myself who might be taking over those properties, whether those parents have sort of passed away or they're getting older or whatever. Do some like studying. Don't just sell the property. See if you can hold on to it, or, you know, mortgage it or whatever. Try to hold on to that asset rather than just selling it, because typically what would happen is, you know, the first generation or the elders might pass away, and then the siblings might just sort of sell the house and split the money between them, and then just sell it, sort of thing. And then, you know,
if you're gonna do it that way, I'm not into the property. I heard this kind of things. The process of understanding. I mean, obviously, this is not out of the context about this interview, but just for people maybe might learn.
Yeah.
But my understanding, if your parents bought a house,
Yeah.
passing it to you,
Yes.
obviously the last will testament kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the UK, there's a rule of inheritance tax.
Correct. Yeah.
So then, if it's a certain amount, let's say 1 million,
Yeah.
they were saying over 1 million. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
understanding is all over the place. But if you got 1 million worth of a house,
Yeah.
you sold it, and
Yeah.
the government has entitled 40%. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think
So
the last time I checked was a few years ago. It was 350 per parent.
Okay.
So then, if it's two parents combined, I think you've got 700,000.
Yeah.
Not a million. That might be different now. So
if you say
check it out.
700,000,
But then after that, yeah, it's 40% inheritance tax. Yeah.
which is then
Yeah.
me. So can you imagine how much money would you actually lose on the property? But then somehow,
Yeah.
if you actually sold the house
Yeah.
and give the money as gifted money to your kids,
Yeah.
would it make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, there are certain ways to sort of get around it. It's best to talk to your tax advisor, or reach out to me, and I can put you in touch with my tax advisor, because I don't want to give sort of tax advice online because I'm not that qualified. But yeah, there's definitely more efficient ways than to just sell the house, pay the inheritance tax, and split it amongst yourselves. You know, there's even one thing where you can gift the house, and as long as the parents live for 7 years,
and then they're going to be tax free.
then it's going to be tax free. So that's one way of doing it. But again, it's best to speak to a tax specialist about it for sure.
Right. So,
Yeah,
so good.
yeah.
So in terms of like I said, advice wise, in terms of people, what could you actually say to them? I mean, if you are back to your kids, for example.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
I've got 2 kids.
Yeah. Kids. If you're going to get something to them to tell them, I mean, obviously you were born here.
Yeah.
And their mum is probably here. It's kind of cultural now.
Yes.
Most of your culture is in English culture pretty much now.
Yeah.
But for some Filipino who might be able to watch this film, what could you actually advise? Is it going to be, if you wanted to do some business, because you're obviously producer or son of the OFW in this country or somehow in other cases in different countries, what would you actually advise them to kind of, do business instead of 9-to-5 job?
The immediate thing that comes to my head is find something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But as I've sort of gotten older, I think it's find something where you can bring the most value.
Okay.
So if you're, if you're really good at making flowers, for example, and you can make these beautiful bouquets, then maybe go into the wedding industry and start doing, flower, become a florist. It might not necessarily be something that you're passionate about, but if you bring value to it, then it's a great business model.
Okay.
The younger me would say, find something that you're really passionate about, because I loved music and sound systems, but looking back, it wasn't the most sort of in terms of money and stuff. It wasn't the most successful financial business. But in terms of fulfilling, absolutely, and I wouldn't change it, to be honest with you. So there's 2 ways of looking at it. You can either follow your dreams and passions, or follow something where you can bring the most value. So there's 2 things I would say.
Kind of things. If you want to do something that you really enjoy doing, and then hopefully thinking about, I could turn this to business. Is that why you're kind of thinking? Yeah.
As long as you can bring value to that and bring value to a customer, then for sure, go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
Because for me, I mean, obviously, like I said, we love what we do. I mean, do the same for you. And like I said, for me, it's not work. It's just kind of more passion to me. Because otherwise, I could just film every day. But what I'm doing now is I'm really uncomfortable with this camera, because this is not my thing. Right?
Sure, you're used to being on the other side.
I'm on the other side of the camera, but then obviously doing this for the sake of me, hopefully could help and inspire people and uplift people. I'm just trying to overcome my fears.
So that's amazing.
So which is now, I think, I'm not there yet, but there's so much more to learn on this journey. But so that is really good. In terms of achievement now, I'm just going to go to achievement to inspire people. Because obviously, you bought the house at the young age, 20 years old. But then you obviously between 20 now to 40, that gap of 20 years. What you actually could share us in terms of life that you haven't given to your family, time, in terms of achievement, kind of cars, maybe
Sure.
anything that could inspire people by doing obviously hard work.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
going to be an easy journey for sure.
Sure.
But could you share us what you actually achieved?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of material things, being honest, I achieved quite a lot of material things at a young age, and I also realised it's not really what makes you happy. Like, it's for me, it's more the experiences. So the stuff that I can do now with the family in terms of
Creating memories.
creating memories and experiences, that to me is priceless. Like we've driven some nice cars and bought some houses, and we continue to buy houses. But for me, like, one of the proudest things that we do is, like, as a company, and it's a family business, the property thing, we get to take the wider family out on holiday every year, like a big family holiday, which is amazing because we get all of me and my brothers and my mum and my auntie sometimes and my kids, and we all go on a holiday, and it's amazing, like, so it's just being able to do little things like that, and like I said, having the time to say, like, if we get an invite to one of the niece or nephew's birthday parties, I can be there because I've got control of the time. So those things are invaluable. I don't have to say, oh, my boss wants me to come into work, and I have to miss that day. So yeah,
those get it financial freedom.
Yeah, exactly. Right. To me, like,
to be able to do what you want to do. In terms of on your, anytime I could do this on my own things without me worrying about that's it. Because I'm working 9 to 5. And then I only got this thing. So that's for you in terms of achievement. You achieved that you have been given those time to kids to just give them a good experiences when they're young. And
I'm present, I'm present during their birthdays, I'm present during school plays and all of that stuff. So that's the most important thing, is having that.
So when you think, if there is a biggest one that you could say as a reward for yourself, if you like, what is the biggest thing, like, you have achieved? Oh, this is Ryan, you showed that you did this.
That's a great question.
So what do you think that is? I mean, obviously you get the house already, that's fine, the hard work, but then what else do you think that you could consider, like, oh, this is...
Over the years, there's been quite a few moments where I've sat back and been super grateful. Like, for example, with Signature Sounds, one thing someone said to me was, like, Signature Sounds changed the whole outlook of Filipino parties. I was like, what do you mean? And they said to me, like, before Signature Sounds, the youngsters used to go to these parties and fight with each other. The West guys, the East guys, blah, blah, blah. They would fight, and it was stupid, really stupid. And they said that when Signature Sounds came along, we brought such a good positive energy to these events that just faded away. And for me, I was like, wow, like, I didn't exit the business how I wanted to or anything like that. I didn't make millions from it. But when someone told me that, I was like, wow, if that's all that achieved, that company, to sort of help the community in that sense, to bring them together, I'm happy with what that's achieved,
Wow. So that's just having a goosebumps. So you're saying that it's not really a material thing to make you happy, and you consider it as a success. If you kind of helping or provided something for the community, you choose that as a reward.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because, like, you're gonna get your car or your whatever it is, and you're gonna whatever your handbag or watch or whatever it is, you're gonna love it for a minute. You're gonna show it off to a few friends. But then what? Then what? Come on, like, it's not like, But, like, some people are genuinely into cars or genuinely into watches, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, for me, material things are great, and don't get me wrong, I do love them. But for me, like, there's other things that are way more important. Like,
Wow. So I think sometimes it's being a successful person, you're not really considering it equal with materials and money. So being to kind of, I think that's to serve the community when kind of obviously you get the money to live. And give something for your family. And provide that kind of services to the community. Do you think it's more important than the material stuff?
I think so. For sure. I heard something online that was, it was amazing. I only heard it like this week. They said, if you had, if there was a whole load of money injected in your life, if you didn't change what you do, you're already rich. You've already got what you want. And it's true, if I won the lottery, would I change what I do at the moment? I don't think I would. Because I really enjoy what we're doing.
Probably if you're gonna watch this video, they're having kind of not really sure yet in terms of because obviously you
Yeah.
did that as a very, very early stage in
Yeah.
your life. If they're not sure, or could I like what, for example, they got an idea of doing the business, but they can't really do it because they're hesitant of playing safe or getting the salary and choosing the 9 to 5 job instead of doing what's the opportunity. Supposedly, what do you kind of advise to them?
There's so much to experience out there. You know, if you go in and you do your job, and there's so many people that work, and that's fine, and if that's their thing, that's fine. That's what they're going to experience until they retire. Whereas if you go into being self-employed, you're going to experience so many different things, and I would recommend that wholeheartedly, because you know the ups and the downs are incredible. You know, and not just that, but we've got to go back generations. Like I look back at my parents, and they came to London not even knowing what London is like. You know, they didn't know, they couldn't go on Google and see where they're going to live, the town or whatever. They left all of their loved ones, their friends and family, and came here. You know, for this opportunity to work here. So we've got these opportunities now. Mum and Dad gave me opportunities. They supported my decisions. So make the most of it. Take what they've done. They grafted. So they work hard. So we work hard naturally. But they've worked so that we have the opportunities here. So do that, you know.
I think that's a privilege, isn't it? Because you were born in there, of course you got the rights to
100%. Like we already, like I say this to so many people, we already won the lottery. Our parents left because and it was hard to get out of Philippines, and it still is hard, you know. Don't get me wrong, Philippines now is growing and it's amazing. But back then, you know, they like I said, they left all of their friends and family to pursue a better life. So we have to, you know, work just as hard and take just as much risk. Like, how can I, as a second generation, not want to risk anything when Mum and Dad left Philippines and they risked everything?
Exactly. Oh, that's a powerful,
you know?
Approach.
Of course.
Incredible. So so that's really incredible. So what do you think that parents, I mean, obviously that culture has influenced that kind of, you know, upbringing for you, and you still get that on your thing. So which is quite really good in my opinion. So what do you think is the biggest influences you parents to just pretty much do the business rather than just being an employee?
I think it was just their time. You know, they worked so much and so hard, and they sacrificed so much, and I was like, you know, I respect it, but I can't do that.
Wonderful.
No,
cool. So in terms of profit-y things, we just now on your kind of stuff. We got probably 5-10 minutes about this. Just wrap up. About the profit-y. So tell us about what exactly you do in this kind of thing. Maybe, who knows? Maybe some people might kind of potentially your client. You know, just tell us about things.
So we don't really do work for clients. What we do is we'll buy a property, generally lower than market value, and then what we'll do is we'll add as much value to it as possible. So we'll do a loft conversion, a rear extension, add a bedroom, and then do a full refurb internally. And then what we will do is once it's, you know, made to look amazing, because it'll be a rundown property and we'll make it amazing, and then what we'll do is we'll remortgage it and we'll rent it out, and then we'll do it again.
So
that's basically what we do.
They just kept doing that. So actually when you started that kind of thing, so you actually buy the property and remortgage it, and obviously you put work into it to make it better. And then so your earning is pretty much, so because obviously when you add value into it, the house is going to significantly
absolutely
go up the price. And you earn, so the renters, or whoever, because you're the landlord as well.
Correct.
Wow. So how many did you get so far?
We've got a handful.
And it's just on your own?
No, like I said, it's a family business.
So that's your mum's part of it?
No, it's me and my brothers.
You and your brothers?
Wow.
It's just still you?
Well, I've got 2 brothers, so there's 3 of us all together. Even though they have their own interests, so like Ronnie is a barber, Ramel works full time at the moment, and I basically oversee the project. So I'm the project manager as well, because I'm a carpenter as well. Obviously, I've got the skills and the knowledge of running the project from start to finish. So I deliver the finished product basically.
So do you think if the Filipino people are looking for renting, so you could be a landlord for them? Eventually.
For sure. And some of my tenants are Filipinos.
So now, where these people could actually find you? I mean, obviously we're coming into the end of the program or the interview.
Sure.
So we would like you, giving you the opportunity to people could actually find you. You've got a website, Facebook, Instagram.
Sure. Hit me up on Instagram. It's Ryan_Lapinid. LAPINID.
And then they could get hold of you from there.
Just hit me up on there. For sure.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Ryan, again.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Incredible opportunity for us and taking your time for giving us to us in here. And hopefully, some people, I mean, obviously, people could watch this video, going to be inspired with your story. It's
Sure.
an incredible story. And it's a very powerful things. Like, I mean, I'm so proud. Those kind of where you are now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the hardship of your parents is just, like you said, it's just not very easy for them. But now, I'm sure obviously, your parents is so proud of you when you come. And that's quite inspiring. And that's what we're here. That's the reason we created this project, for people to inspire.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this kind of, story that we shared to people is really inspiring.
Oh, thanks for having
And
me.
I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate your time. Maraming salamat mga kababayan at sa panonood at sa oras na binigyan niyo ulit sa amin. At sana po ay may nakapulot kayong aral sa aming episode ngayon. At kung kayo po ay may napulot na aral, kayo po ay sumuporta at mag-subscribe sa aming channel. Maraming salamat po. Hanggang sa muli.